Man, you look so cute in your purple Kirk Cousins jersey. Very well done today. You look so cute in it, Michael.
You know, I really wish that I hadn't done this, and I regretted it from the moment I put it on today.
Boo! Boo! Where's your Kirk Cousins jersey? You suck, Florio. You suck. Look, you're folding under the pressure in primetime, just like Kirk Cousins. Now he goes to the Ravens. The Ravens. Oh, my
Hey, the Ravens
gosh.
are 5-2. The Ravens are on their way. They got one of the leading MVP candidates in Lamar Jackson. I couldn't do the Kirk Cousins jersey again. We did it for the show. I paid off my bet,
Yep,
and now
you
we
did.
move on.
Okay.
Unlike you, I do a wardrobe change between PFT Live and the joint PFTPM Chris Sims Unbuttoned Mega Picks podcast that we do every Thursday.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. You're at home and I'm at the office, okay? So, all right, I just want to get to it before we move on and get into our picks. I put out a little, calling out there to the homies. Like, what up, homies? What do you think of Mike Florio's jersey? We got some good interaction to go. I like this. One of my favorites from John Ellis, okay? He looks like an eager, middle-aged team owner at a wild card weekend pep rally. Like, go Kirk Cousins, go Vikings, woo! I like that one a lot. Oh, from Larry Monkey. They made a 4T special for him. What the hell does that mean, a 40? Oh, like a four top, and your cop. Your collared shirt is so impressive.
Hey,
Larry,
Larry, that was an XL. That was an XL, Larry, so suck on that.
Okay. Then we got Drew Sabo, either way. New bet, if Cousins wins Super Bowl MVP, he has to wear the helmet too. Oh.
Let me stop right there.
Yeah.
Let me stop right there.
Go ahead.
Let me stop right there. I will make a promise to you. If Kirk Cousins wins Super Bowl MVP, I will get a Kirk Cousins tattoo on my arm. Guaranteed.
I can hear the production room yelling through the walls right now when they just heard you say that. Like, everybody is yelling, okay?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what I'll do. If he's Super Bowl MVP, I'll get Kirk Cousins tattooed left arm above anything that would ever be seen by any human beings.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God, dear God, dear God. If you've ever listened to me ever in your life, please let the Vikings win the Super Bowl. First
of all, God saved your life when you almost died during a game. I think you're out of favors from God.
Yeah, you're right. I probably used them all up there, yeah. All right, but man, you just turned the NBC control room into Vikings fans. I'm just telling you that right now. We're all let's go purple. Here we go. Okay, let's get into business. Last week you were 7-7 straight up, not your best showing. I, on the other hand, was 11-3. Pretty good showing by me. You were 6-8 against the spread. I was 8-4-2 against the spread. We both went 2-1, right, with our best bets. We lost the 49ers game in the slop fest, which just stinks because, I mean, come on.
By a half point.
And we had it. I mean, the monsoon killed us. But the Rams, we both were all over that. I took New Orleans. You took the New England Patriots. So we go 2-1 there. For the season, I have a 2-game lead on you straight up. You are beating me against the spread by 3. Okay. And our best bets, I have a 1-game lead on you. I'm feeling good about my best bets lately. So I'm just telling everybody, I said it last week, I feel like I'm on a heater. And you might want to jump in a little bit. I'm just saying. Just so you know, too, I don't really care about our total record against the spread for the year, all right, because that's very tough, and I wouldn't bet on a lot of these games. But when it comes to straight up and our best bets, I want to kick your ass, okay? I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Now, speaking of kicking your ass, the Redskins at the Vikings on a Thursday night football game. It's prime time. It's Kirk Cousins time. Vikings are favored by 16.5 points. Over and under at 41.5. Go ahead. Lead it off with your squad, Mike.
Unbelievable 16.5-point spread. And, I give you a hard time for trying to thread the needle. I'm going to try to thread the needle. Now, this is a pretty big needle at 16.5 points. I think the Vikings win the game. I don't think they cover the spread. And I have a very vivid recollection of last year, week 3, when they were 17-point favorites over the Bills and lost to Josh Allen straight up. I think it's Vikings 30, Washington 17. I think it'll be close for a while. I think the Vikings will pull away late, or maybe they'll be up 20 and there'll be a garbage time touchdown, whatever the case may be. I think the Vikings do not cover, but I think they win it straight up, 30-17. They're clearly the better team.
Right.
This is not a team where the Vikings aren't going to be able to run the football. As long as the Vikings can run the football, they're going to be able to unlock play action. They're going to run into trouble the next time they face a defense that clamps down Dalvin Cook, because I don't think Kirk Cousins, even the new and improved Kirk Cousins, can get it done if he doesn't have the benefit of that play action, that bootleg, that thing that works only when Dalvin Cook is gashing the front seven and getting through to the second and third level.
No, I mean, I hear you, and you're right. I mean, they play through Dalvin Cook. You're spot on there. Everything that Kirk Cousins really feeds off of in the pass game comes off of the Dalvin Cook run game threat. He's been on fire. I'm with you. I am taking the Vikings, of course. I'm picking 27-10 Vikings. I think... I go with like what you first said. I think the Redskins will hang around early. I think the Redskins have a little bit of the formula to slow down the Vikings early. To what you're talking about, like that team that can stop the Dalvin Cook factor, and where does it go from there? The Redskins, they have this going for them at least. They have a front four that can be dominant, and their defense is better than the statistics show, because their offense sucks, so eventually their defense just gets worn down and things like that. I think they will be a pain in the ass for the Vikings early, but I don't know if the Redskins offense can ever establish anything really either going on, and I just think eventually the Vikings will kind of slowly wear them down. I could see it being 7-3, and then 10-3, and then 17-3, and then maybe 20-10, 20-3, and then 20-10, and they put them away late, something like that. But we're both on it. I of course have the Vikings barely covering, but I think it's dangerous. I'm with you. I think it's in that range of maybe 17, maybe it's only 13, something in there, and I don't think I would bet on this game. And as I'm telling you that, now it will not be one of my best bets of the week. I can promise you that. All right, let's go to game 2. The Seahawks at the Falcons. The Falcons get another NFC West team to come into town to whoop their ass in Atlanta. We don't even know the status of Matt Ryan. That's certainly not helping the situation out. Seahawks favored by 5.5, over under at 54. What say you, Florio?
Do we really need to know the status of Matt Ryan to know that this is going to be a blowout? I don't care who plays. It could be Matt Ryan. It could be Matt Schaub. It could be Matthew McConaughey playing quarterback. I don't care.
All right.
The Seahawks are going to kick this shit out of the Falcons. The only question becomes whether or not Arthur Blank is finally going to look around that stadium that he paid for and realize the reason no one is there is because his team stinks. Those $2 hot dogs are not making up for the fact that the team is awful. They're going into the bye week. Everyone outside of the organization thinks now's the time to change coaches, but Blank seems to be willing to stick with Dan Quinn. Well, it's going to be more days like Sunday when the Seahawks roll into town. And Chris, I was talking earlier today on PFT Live during the radio hour. The Falcons host the Saints on Thanksgiving night. Can you imagine how sparse the crowd is going to be? Who's going to drag their butts out of their front living rooms on late afternoon Thanksgiving to go watch the Falcons get stomped on Thanksgiving night by the Saints? It's going to be an embarrassingly small crowd, I think. It's going to be a small crowd on Sunday. The Seahawks are going to roll over them. I've got 34-16. It could be worse than that because the Seahawks are trying to get right after losing to the Ravens at home. They were embarrassed. They're going to come into this thing focused and ready, and the Falcons, I think, are falling apart. We've seen it all year. They're not good enough. I think the Seahawks are going to destroy them.
Yeah, I'm with you. And just about everything you said. I mean, yeah, it's not good for the Falcons that the Seahawks come off a loss that way. They are going to be refocused. They're clearly the better football team. You know, the Seahawks offense got great balance. We know that. You know, the Falcons, again, have shown that when they play defenses that are at least even above average on the defensive line, that they can't protect the quarterback. It's just an absolute, avalanche of pressure into Matt Ryan's face or stopping stopping the run game. Now, I do want Matt Ryan being healthy does add a little bit of a danger factor, okay? I'll just say that. Because the Seahawks, I do worry, as you know, and that's why they made a trade for a safety this week in Quandre Diggs. Yeah, I'm worried about their pass defense. I don't think it's special, but I don't know if Atlanta can protect good enough to totally expose it. So at the end of the day, I'm going with something close to what you're going with. I'm going Seahawks 35-21. I think they clearly win this football game. I'm with you. They got a great experience, of course, against this system and all of that. And the Falcons the same way, vice versa, because they both play the Seattle scheme on the defensive side of the ball. But the Falcons defense, nothing special. It's horrible. And their offense is pretty damn bad too. So I'm going Seahawks.
And, I drew a blank earlier, and I was trying to come up with a third quarterback named Matt, so I went Matthew McConaughey. Hell, what about Matt Sims? It's still going to be a blowout. You put any quarterback named Matt out there, Matt Barkley, Matt Castle, Matt Flynn, Matt Hasselbeck, Matt McGloin, Matt Moore, Matt Stafford, any of them. Well, maybe Matt Stafford would make a difference. No, not even him.
Right.
This Falcons team is done, and the Seahawks are going to destroy them.
They're done, and we'll move on for that one. But the Seahawks, this is one of two road favorites in all of Week 7 here. It's only one of two. The Green Bay Packers are the other one, and we'll get to that later. All right. I think this is the cream of the crop out of the 1 o'clock games, what we're about to discuss. The Eagles versus the Buffalo Bills. It's a little bit of an underwhelming 1 o'clock game package this week. But I do find this to be the most intriguing matchup of all. The desperate, reeling Philadelphia Eagles going up to Buffalo, who won a game last week where they did not play well. And you've heard me say that's always dangerous to me. When a team wins and then doesn't play well, the pressure's not on you in the building, yet the pressure's there that, we got to, cross our T's and dot our I's because that was not acceptable last week. So I always think that's a dangerous formula. The Bills favored by 2.5, over under at 43.5. Do you think the Eagles can get on track on the road in Buffalo this week?
I believe that this weekend in Buffalo, the Philadelphia Eagles will relish their season with a victory over the Buffalo Bills.
You're funny.
I mean, salvage their season.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Salvage their season. They will relish the fact that they've salvaged their season. Look, we talked about this yesterday in PFTOT. The Eagles' schedule down the stretch is not easy, and they've got some tough games coming up. They better win while they can, and they are going to be desperate for this game after getting splattered by the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And you said it, too, as it relates to the Bills. Look, they should have lost to the Dolphins. And when you look at their wins, they really don't have that signature impressive, we kicked the crap out of somebody type of a victory. The Bills have won 5 out of 6 games. That's great. But they haven't really won a game in a way that makes me say, wow. And there's their schedule. At the Jets, they were down 16-0. They came back and won. They beat the Giants by 14. Okay, who cares?
Yeah.
They dicked around with the Cincinnati Bengals. They could have lost to the Titans. They won that game. And then they beat the Dolphins in a game that they should have lost. So, I think they're ripe to be beaten and to really kind of settle back to a record that more accurately reflects where they currently are. I think the Eagles win the game 24-20. I think that desperation will be a factor. I think Doug Peterson learned a valuable lesson last week. And I feel like the Eagles play well when they truly are backed against the wall, and they are this weekend at Buffalo.
Yeah, they're scary. They're the ultimate backs against the wall type of team. They're scary in general, though, right now. I do not like what I see, not only on TV, but, when I get all Ron Jaworski and go film stuff, too. The offense is a little predictable. What's there to be scared of? There's no run game. They have a little bit of an identity problem where I want to go, what is the Eagles' offense? Tell me. Because to me, it just looks like Carson Wentz, please make some plays for us to help us. But other than Carson Wentz, who do you get scared of on that offense? Defensively, still not up to par. And, still a banged-up group that's not as dominant up front as they've been in years past. And, their corner play is, as you saw again last week, it's just not good. The Bills, even though I got questions about their offense, I got no questions about their defense. Sean McDermott, for as predictable as Philly has been, I think will be all over this Eagles offense. And I'm scared of Josh Allen and doing dumb things, even though last week he was positive that he took care of the football. But I'm taking the Bills to win this. I just can't put my hat or put my, I can't hang my hat on the Philadelphia Eagles right now. They got to prove it to me before I kind of believe in them once again. So I'm going Bills 20-17 at home, pulling the victory off and going to, what would that make them? 6-1, which I can't even believe is coming out of my mouth. But yes, I'm going Bills 20-17. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I disagree with you. I say you're wrong, and that's one that we can poke fun at each other as it unfolds on Sunday.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I mean, I'm excited to watch that as that goes. I expect it to be very close nonetheless, and I could see it going your way or my way. Now, let's go to the we play like crap game. Okay, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to the Chicago Bears. The Chargers, of course, lose a heartbreaker last week to the Tennessee Titans. The Bears look like absolute shit against the Saints. There's no other way to say it. Their offense pitiful. Chargers all over the place. I don't know what to expect in this one, but the Bears are favored by 3.5, over under at 40.5. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, look, neither of these teams has lived up to expectations. Last year, they were a combined 24-8. Each had a record of 12-4. This year, they're a combined 5-8 through 6 weeks of the season. We would have called it a potential Super Bowl preview at some point during the offseason, looking ahead to Week 8. Now, neither team looks like they're destined to get to the playoffs. I think the Bears are sufficiently desperate, and there's so much controversy in Chicago, and they just need to get it focused. They need to get it together. They need to keep it simple. They should be able to beat the Chargers. Chris, one of the matchups I almost added to our draft earlier today on PFT Live, Matt Nagy against that Gus Bradley Seattle defense, where, as you say all the time, you've got the Seattle beaters you can build in. If they can't move the ball against this defense, given where the Chargers are right now, given their mindset right now, they're not going to move the ball against anyone. And I think the loser of this game is going to flat out collapse. And the Bears can't afford to be the team that loses here, because I think they're more likely to collapse if they lose this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Whoever loses this game, it will be kind of that final nail to go, okay, it's official, we're not good, and the season's over. The Chargers, of course, their offense, it is a little more potent than the Bears. I mean, they do have Phillip Rivers in their passing game, so there's something positive there. Their run game has not, come to life at all this season, really. On the other side of the ball, the Bears offense, it's pitiful. It's one of the worst in football. There's really no other way to say it. And I talked about the Eagles having no identity. I mean, the Bears really have no identity. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish, but the Chargers defense is certainly nothing special there. I'm taking the Bears in this. I'm going 19-17 Bears. I think this will be an ugly game. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of sexy offense or anything like that. But ultimately, I'm picking the Bears because I think this is the type of game they can win, because they can steamroll the front of the Chargers offensive line, a little bit like we saw the Steelers do to the Chargers O-line, to where I think that'll help them. And then because of the simplicity of the Chargers defense, they're still not a healthy group. They're not very big in the interior. I think the Bears will be able to muster enough offense to win the football game. And let me just say this too. The Bears, where's Mitchell Trubisky's run game? Where did that go? I mean, the best thing he did last year was scramble, and they had some design runs for him every year. Hey, listen, if you don't like the guy or you don't think he's a quality starter, then run his ass. Let him get hit. I mean, who cares if he gets hurt, apparently, if it doesn't matter. I just, why did we draft these guys sometimes that are these dual threat quarterbacks, and then we never use the other part of the dualness? I don't ever get that. So I'd like to see that, instilled into that offense. But I'm going Bears. I don't feel confident about it, but I think it's an ugly win for them at home.
Yeah, Trubisky had 420 rushing yards last year, 21 this year. Now, he's still got that shoulder thing. Maybe they're protecting him a little bit.
Right.
I just don't know that they know what they want to do. And you've said this from the first game of the season. Where's the offensive identity for the Chicago Bears? But I agree with you. Bears win. I got 23-17. Some sort of a fluke thing happens at the end. Maybe the Chargers on the doorstep of the end zone and can't get in like we saw in Tennessee. Or I like your 19-17 because that suggests the Chargers will be lining up for a game-winning field goal, and the ball's going to get snapped off of the holder's helmet and go straight up in the air, and that's going to be the end of it. But the Chargers keep finding ways to lose. The Bears need to find a way to win, or they're going to end up in last place in the NFC North after winning the division last year.
Yeah, it's certainly not looking good for either team. All right, Giants, Lions, 1 o'clock in Detroit. We got the Lions favored by 7, over under 49. Lions are coming off some tough losses where they haven't necessarily played bad. They've just played two teams that are better than them and hot. The Giants, on the other hand, are starting to go in the wrong direction. So I'm not surprised to see the 7-point spread over under 49. Like I said, how do you see it unfolding, Michael?
Yeah, I really like the Lions in this one. And it's 3 games in a row where the Lions played quality opponents tough back before the bye week. They had the Chiefs on the ropes. They could have won, should have won that one. Then after the bye, the loss to the Green Bay Packers on a Monday night that they should have won. The game against the Vikings, they hung tough even after they came out of that Monday night with the short week and all of the adversity of having your potential victory fall apart right in front of your face. And look, but for that Kirk Cousins throw that put the Vikings in position to go up 42-30, I think the Lions still had a chance to pull that one out. So I like the Lions in this one, a get back on the right track type of a game, and the Giants are in the process of falling apart. And I think it's just a matter of time before people start suggesting that Pat Shurmur needs to go. He's been insulated from a lot of the criticism because it was Eli Manning who was the focal point, and then it's Dave Gettleman is the focal point, and then John Mara a little bit gets some of the criticism. And it's going to come back to roost on Pat Shurmur. And this is the kind of game that is going to show that there's a gap between the Giants and the teams in the NFC that fall into the good to above average category. And I think the Lions are there, even though their record doesn't reflect it. 28-17. It could get worse than that, but I like 28-17 Detroit over the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said a lot of right things. I mean, just, hey, living up here in New York, I think there's some rumblings about Pat Shurmur from the fan base here in New York. He's not winning, the press conferences either. So he's not doing himself any favors with some of that stuff, which I think also hurts him in the public perception. Kind of flew under the radar for one of the dumbest coaching decisions of the week last week. And because of the Giants and they were playing the Cardinals, we didn't talk about it a lot. But they were down by 3 points with like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left and had 2 timeouts. And what was it, 4th and 15? And they went for it, backed up. And then, of course, that led the Arizona Cardinals to kicking a field goal to go up by 6. That made no sense. The Cardinals...
then he acted like that's what he wanted to do. He acted like that was the plan, because then they're up 6 and we get the ball back and we can score a game-winning touchdown. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's right. That's what I mean. He's not winning and doing himself favors there. That was full Tropic Thunder moment right there by Pat Shurmur and company. But ultimately, hey, I don't like that the Lions lost Kerryon Johnson. That does stink. Because they do want to run the ball and have some consistency there. But Matthew Stafford's been playing great. The receiving core has been good. We saw what Marvin Jones can do last week. TJ Hawkinson's a weapon. The Giants' pass defense still stinks. And, I think that the Giants' offense is not talented enough or diverse enough right now to where I think Matt Patricia will have a beat on things and understand what to do. Plus, he got to see New England's plan of attack, and he'll be able to play off of that from a few weeks ago to go with what he liked and didn't like about their game plan against the Giants. I got a similar score. I got the Giants losing by more than you, though. I'm going Lions 34-20. I think this is one of those teams that they match up very well with. I think Matthew Stafford will have a big day, and I think they win this one comfortably.
Now, let me just add one caveat.
Yep.
The Quandre Diggs trade, to the extent that creates issues in the locker room, that's a challenge for Matt Patricia to get guys to turn the page, not be salty, not be pissed, not get themselves twisted up in knots about the fact that Diggs got traded. I mean, my understanding is this was as simple as coming to the conclusion that his play has regressed for no good reason, and they moved on from Diggs. But they need to be upfront, they need to be direct, and they need to get anybody who may be pissed off about this trade on the same page quickly, or they could be ripe for an upset in this one. That's my one area of hesitation.
Very valid point. And you're right. I did not think about that aspect of it. I'm hoping that doesn't filter into the rest of the team. But you're right. When you lose a player like that, it can piss people off in the locker room and be a little bit of a distraction that way. And that is something to watch out for. All right, Broncos, Colts. Colts favored by 5.5. They're at home, coming off their win against the Texans. Broncos got an extra time after getting shellacked on Thursday Night Football last week against the Chiefs. Over under at 42.5. Interesting game. I think I know who you're going to pick. Go ahead, Mike.
Who do you think I'm going to pick? I thought about taking the Broncos just because the Colts are developing this Titans vibe where they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and then they'll lay an egg against a team like the Raiders.
Yeah,
remember, we were certain a few weeks ago. That was one of those, because it's hard to pick these games.
It is.
And you have that small category every week where, all right, I know this one's right. The ones I worry about are the ones that fall into that category of it could go either way. And when one of those teams loses that you thought was just going to win, it's like, what the hell's wrong with the Colts? And I still have that concern. Is this a game where the Colts could trip and fall? Is Frank Reich... And look, for any praise we're going to heap on him, we have to ask that question. Is Frank Reich capable of keeping these guys focused in the games they're supposed to win? I think he will. I think he's learned from his mistakes. I think they'll win 27-13. I have no faith in the Broncos offense, and the defense isn't nearly good enough at this point to overcome where the offense is. You also have that possibility of a fire sale that's looming.
Yeah.
Maybe you got some guys who are going to make some business decisions because maybe they're going to get over the wall like Emmanuel Sanders did, and I think that's going to be a factor in this game. And they lose this game and fall to 2-6, and it is time to listen to any offer for any player, including Von Miller. And you can't say Von Miller's untouchable, because what if somebody offers you 2 first-round picks? You take them and you run if you're the Broncos, because by the time they're worth a crap again, Von Miller's going to be 33 or 34 years old. So this is the kind of game where I think it does potentially fall apart for the Broncos, coupled with the fact that the Colts have lost a couple of games they should have won. They're going to go dagger early on the Broncos, 27-13, and it could be worse than that.
Okay, I mean, you're right about the Broncos. Agree with you. I mean, if they get something like that for Von Miller, I think your point is very real. You're right. By the time they would be relevant again, he's going to be totally on the decline of his career and towards the end of it. So I think that would be smart. Be interesting to see if there is some play for him, down this last week. The Colts, you're right. They're a little all over the place. I'm very impressed with the Colts offense for the most part. I mean, they went through a few games early in the year where, they managed the offense a little bit, and Jacoby Brissett as he was kind of getting his feet settled underneath him. But, man, when I watch them on film and all that on a weekly basis, I'm always impressed with the game plan. And you've heard me talk about their game plan specific plays that they come up with just to screw a defense over, all of that. I think the one area, this is Denver. I do think they have pride. Vic Fangio in his defense. They didn't play great last week. I do think that they're going to want to bounce back. I do worry about the Colts defense a little bit. There's no one great area to me on that defense. There's a lot of good, maybe the linebackers I would say are great when Darius Leonard is healthy and flying around. So I have it a little closer than you. I'm with you. I think the Colts win this game clearly, but I'm kind of thinking they might be a little asleep at the wheel, like you're saying, and the Broncos defense can maybe give them some problems early. But I'm going to go Colts 24-17. Clearly the better football team, and really ultimately at the end of the day, I'm with you. I have no faith in the Broncos offense in totality. They might be able to run the ball here and there, but I don't trust Flacco or the game plan. And now no Emmanuel Sanders, one less guy to be worried about. I just don't see it happening, and that's that. Anything else you want to say to that one?
Yeah. Here's what I want to say. If the Eagles beat the Bills and get to 4-4 on the year, and the Broncos lose, the Eagles reportedly offered a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Jalen Ramsey. I would start with that same package for Von Miller and see what John Elway does. And I'd be willing to go to 2 first-round picks. Could you imagine what a difference Von Miller would make for the Eagles as they try to pull themselves back into this? So just something to think about.
Yeah,
because if you've already considered,
and they flirted with
Jadeveon
Clowney too. Remember? I mean, there was talk with there. Yeah.
That's right. So 2 1s, and I'd give up 2 1s for Von Miller, especially if I think Von Miller's presence is going to cause me to be drafting far later in round 1 this year and next year than I otherwise would be. I just think it's something to keep an eye on. And that's why the trade deadline, it comes the Tuesday after week 8. The results of that 8th week go a long way toward determining who's selling and who's really motivated to buy. And if you're the Eagles and you lose this game, okay, maybe not. If you win, you get that little rejuvenation, right? And if the Broncos lose, all right, it's time to just take whatever we can get and move on. So that's one that I'd be intrigued by if it pans out that way. And I think the Eagles should be at least willing to consider it if they do beat the Bills on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's a very good angle, and I hear you. I mean, I would make that call too, especially if they deem themselves as being in the Super Bowl window for maybe the next 2 to 3 years. It would make sense to have a Von Miller to be a part of that window being open. Okay, Jets, Jaguars. I see dead people. Sam Darnold and Adam Gase. Okay, going to the Jaguars. Nick Foles has been practicing. Jaguars are favored by 6 points. Over under at 41.5. Do you think the Jets bounce back, Florio?
Do we think we can get the name Haley Joel Darnold to stick? Does that work? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Haley Joel Darnold.
I like that. What was his name in the movie, though? I can't remember his name in the movie.
It was Cole Sear, and nobody knows that his name was Cole Sear. So
you're right. Okay.
That's not going to work. So you got to go with the Haley Joel Osment twist. And a short week, Jets were embarrassed. The Jaguars have a good defense. And I don't know that they just take exactly what the Patriots did and do it again. I just think that they know they can confuse Sam Darnold, and you spend the week trying to come up with a way to confuse him again. He played really well a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's going to take more than a week to recover from what happened to him on Monday night. I think the Jaguars win. Gardner, the Ginsu Minshew, we haven't been as excited about him. We didn't pay any attention to the Jaguars last week because they were playing the Bengals. Who cares when anyone plays the Bengals? But I like the Jaguars in this one, 24-10. They pull even to 4-4, and they're in the mix for the AFC South. If the Texans stumble, if the Colts stumble, the Jaguars could be there, and Nick Foles is back at practice this week. Who knows what happens if he's back on the field? And we both have the Jaguars from before the season winning the division, so I think we're both kind of rooting to be right. It's not necessarily rooting for the Jaguars. We like to be right. We're rooting to be right, and I think the right call here is maybe the Jaguars pull their way back in. For Sunday, they have enough to beat the Jets 24-10, and they move to 4-4.
I'm with you. I think they have enough to beat the Jets as well. You know, again, to your point, you're right. The Jaguars don't do what the Patriots do, so you're not going to see that similar game plan. Plus, I'd be a little scared to have that game plan this week anyways, because I could promise you, probably in a Monday walkthrough, Wednesday practice, that blitz pickup and what to do against the blitz was a main focus by the Jets offense, and they're going to have a few tricks up their sleeves in case the Jaguars do want to break that out this week. So you got to be careful, but that's not really what the Jaguars do. They're that Seattle scheme we talk about. This is what we play, this is what we do, and deal with it. The Jets on the other side, I will say this. I think the Jets defense, will give the Jaguars some problems at times here and there, but I do like the Jaguars offense. I mean, it's pretty balanced, and whether it's Minshew or Foles, they can hurt you in the pass game. Now, they can hurt you more with Foles, and I'm going to be interested to see if they dangle him out there and put him out there this week, or if they're just giving him a week of practice before he comes back next week. I have the Jaguars scoring 24 points, just like you. I just think the Jets will score a few more than what you think because of the embarrassment of Monday night, Sam Darnold being a little more on his P's and Q's and all over the game plan, and Adam Gase wanting to silence some of the critics from last week. I got the Jaguars winning 24-20. Clearly the better team, clearly control the game, but I think the Jets kind of hang around and are a pain in their ass for the most of the day.
Yeah, I look...
Yeah, we'll see.
The more I think about this one, yeah, I know. I'm not going to change my pick. I've been thinking about it because I could see, that Jets team from 2 weeks ago beat the Cowboys. Yeah. They're lurking in there somewhere. They have Le'Veon Bell, but I'm going to stick with my pick.
Yeah, I think don't.
My hand's off the checker.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't switch to the Jets. I wouldn't advise that to you as your friend. Okay, you know where we're going to next? We're going to London. You sound like you're from London.
You sound like you're from London.
Bengals, Rams. Rams favored by 13 in London. Over under 48.5. It's the Sean McVay versus Zach Taylor Bowl. They know each other so well. They could be inside each other's brains. Who wins this one, Florio?
It doesn't matter because one team is the Rams and the other team is the Bengals. And the As they would say in London, the Bengals are a bunch of wankers. Now, that's not a word that would raise any eyebrows here, but apparently that's a vulgar term in London. So we may have to bleep wankers for the UK version of the podcast. So let me go ahead and say wankers again. The Bengals are a bunch of wankers. I think the Rams will destroy the Bengals yet again. And you know what, Chris? There's never been a London game between two teams with winning records at the time they played in the London game. So at least they get one team with a winning record, the LA Rams. The Bengals are winless. They'll stay winless. The Cincinnati Wankers are going to lose in ugly fashion to the LA Rams. I've got the final score at 34-13.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Come on, let's not spend a lot of time here. You're right. The Wankers suck, okay? There's nothing else to say. They're horrible on really, especially the offensive side of the ball.
I'm looking up what the word means.
What does it mean? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. You can look it up.
No. You're going to make me look it up, and then I'm going to read it out loud. I mean, we can't do that.
Do you want me to read it out loud?
Yes, I do.
There are
That's
different
what the
meanings
listeners
for it.
want. Go ahead.
Definition of wanker, British slang, usually vulgar, a person who masturbates.
Oh.
That's what a wanker is.
Well, the Bengals.
I didn't know. All right.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Well,
let's keep moving.
Yes, but okay.
That's from Merriam-Webster. That's not UrbanDictionary.com. That's Merriam-Webster.
Yes.
The definition of wanker.
Yep. Well, the Bengals, maybe they've been being wankers too much instead of studying their playbook. I don't know what they're doing, all right? But either way, it's not good, and I do worry. Okay, my only thing is this to worry about. I obviously, on the field, there's nothing to really worry about in general. I just worry about, the Rams going over to London and, enjoying London too much. London is one of these, weird places where the games never quite seem to unfold the way you expect them to be. Now, I'm hoping the Rams are staying focused here and all that, but we've heard plenty of stories of teams going over there, and I know guys can't control themselves because they're like, I've never been here before, and then they act like stupid wankers, and then they're tired for the game. Okay, all right, but I'm with you. I'm going Rams 38-17. I think they dominate clearly. I mean, there's no AJ Green still. There's nothing good. So stop laughing, you wanker. Rams 38-17 in London.
I just hope by Monday you forget that phrase because I have a feeling you're going to utter it on PFT Live. Just don't. Just erase it from your brain. Forget we ever said it, and let's move on. That we shouldn't spend any more time on the Rams versus the Wankers.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. I think we're going to be I think I might break that out on Monday. I don't think you can stop me now. All right, Cardinals, Saints. Cardinals kind of winning some football games, although it's against some really bad football teams. At least they're winning. The Saints are on fire. They're favored by 10.5 at home. Breeze, Bridgewater, Breeze. Extra thumb exercises are going on this week. Oh my gosh, it's an exercise thumb mania in New Orleans. Over under at 48.5. How do you see it unfolding, Mike?
Regardless of whether it's Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, it doesn't matter because Sean Payton's the man. He's the master of taking that defense, picking it apart, figuring out where the holes are in the system, where the tendencies are. He's going to have the right plays ready to go. I think Drew Brees will play. Even if he doesn't, Saints 31, Cardinals 13. Yes, the Cardinals have won 3 in a row, and that's impressive, but they've yet to play a team like the Saints. Kyler Murray has yet to venture into a building like the Superdome for a Saints game.
That's what I was going to say, right.
It's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day. To the extent that Kyler Murray hasn't had his welcome to the NFL moment, it's coming on Sunday. And we're both Kyler Murray fans.
Big time.
I love the fact that he has responded to adversity. 3-1 start with 3 straight wins, but not on Sunday, not in the Superdome. Saints win big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you as well. Go ahead. Let me hear your score. What are they going to win? But how big are they going to win?
31-13 if I didn't already say it, and there's a chance I didn't already say it. 31-13.
Okay, all right. So I think you did say it.
I did say it.
So either way, I'm with you. This is the toughest environment the Cardinals have had to play against. This is the best team the Cardinals had to play against. On the road, Saints defense dominant as we're seeing on a weekly basis right now. I think they're going to pose a lot of problems for the Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray offense. And then really ultimately is the other side of the ball that I'm really worried about. The Cardinals defense is not good, and they're not good in run defense or pass defense. So that's an issue. And the Saints, they're going to run the ball. We know that. And I think this is the kind of game that, yes, Sean Payton will dial up a few in-the-lab play-action passes to screw them over off of that. I have a very, very similar score to you. I'm 31-16, so I gave the Cardinals an extra field goal late in the game. But clearly seeing the Saints dominate either way with Bridgewater or Breeze doesn't matter. I honestly think they dominate more if Bridgewater plays, and that's not a slap in the face or disrespect to Drew Brees. I'm just saying he hasn't played in a while. I could see him knocking some rust off early, to where if it was Bridgewater and the Saints and all that, I feel like that's kind of a well-oiled machine right now. I understand Breeze gives them a much greater chance as the season goes on. I'm just talking about right now as it pertains to this Sunday. But clearly, like the Saints, we're both on par there together. All right, last game of the 1 o'clocks. The Buccaneers, the Saints. Mariota versus Winston.
Titans.
Oh, wait. Oh, yes. Mariota versus, oh, wait. No, it's Tannehill versus Jameis Winston. Titans favored by 2.5 at home in Tennessee, over under 45.5. Buccaneers coming off the bye week from their London loss to the Carolina Panthers. Marcus Mariota's been playing Jameis Winston on the scout team. I'm sure he's enjoying that this week, right? But go ahead, Mike. What do you think goes down in this one?
Well, it's funny. 2015, when both Winston and Mariota were rookies, their first game ever played was against each other. And here we are. Mariota's been benched. Winston, I don't know that he's in danger of being benched, because who would they put in? But Winston is now playing again for his job in 2020. There's been some rumblings of some dysfunction in Tampa, and I think that Bruce Arians is starting to realize that there's really only so much you can do to fix Jameis Winston. I said this earlier today. I think I was on radio in Chicago. Back in the 70s, you could give Terry Bradshaw 5 years to get to his ceiling, because you didn't have the same offseason reps. You didn't have the same opportunities to accelerate a guy's overall development. By year 5 today, you know who the guy is, and he's as good as he's ever going to be. And that's where Jameis Winston is. Now, the question is, can they coax enough out of him a week removed from that disaster in Carolina? Does he still care enough deep down? Or is he deciding, this just is it. This is done. I'm checked out. I mean, he's going to get to a point where he's checked out. And I could see with some adversity early on Sunday, maybe he does finally snap and he goes back to being that guy that we've seen in bad spots. This one was tough for me, because I could see it go the other way too. It all comes down to how Winston plays. But I think the Titans at home, and they have shown they can win when they're favored. They won last week when they were favored over the Chargers. I think the Titans win 24-20. They get to 4-4, and that AFC South becomes a cluster. And I don't feel this is the one of all the games this week. This is the one I feel the worst about. But I'm going to stick with the Titans, just because it's too easy to envision bad Jameis Winston making an appearance at some point on Sunday for the Buccaneers.
Well, I agree with you. Excuse me. It is a dangerous one. It's a tough one to pick, certainly. I guess I worry the Titans' defense is good. I think that's the first thing I want to say. But we know the Tampa Bay offense can be dangerous, and they can move the ball. And if you play too much man-to-man on them, Jameis Winston and Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich, they'll find ways to make big plays down the field with Mike Evans and company. So that's a very real thing. And Chris Godwin, who's, of course, been extremely good this year as well. I do like what I've seen from the Titans, though, with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. I said that all week. I thought just from what I saw last week against the Chargers, the quarterback play was improved. The Titans are at home. And the Titans, even though, not a great offense, and I don't know exactly what they're always trying to get accomplished on that side of the ball, too, they at least will stay patient with the run game. Their pass game, it's somewhat creative, and it's a Buccaneers defense that's still not very good. And ultimately, I'm going with the Titans at home, because I think that Tannehill will give them enough advantage to make plays against that Buccaneers not so good pass defense. And I think Vrabel and Dean Pease will come up with enough creative defenses to give Jameis Winston and company a trouble. I go 27-20 Titans, but I do think it's dangerous like you. It's not an easy one.
Yeah, we both have them covering, because that spread's only 2.5 points. And all right, let's move on before I change my mind.
Yeah.
Titans 24-20.
Yep, I got you. I'm with you. Okay, Panthers 49ers. This is another one under the radar. Really good game. You know what? I got to read. I got to do this. I'm sorry to go to Carolina.
Don't worry about it. Let's do it real quick. PFTPM podcast. Check it out at least 3 times a week. I do Tuesdays with MDS. I do Fridays. I answer all your questions. Thursdays, I'm stuck with you stupid wanker. All right, let's move on.
PFTPM podcast. If you're a highly paid NFL quarterback going through some midseason struggles, do I have the podcast for you? The PFT PM podcast with Mike Florio, the man who single-handedly fueled Kirk Cousins' 2019 MVP campaign. Yes, download it now because Florio loves the Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. But really, no, your podcast is cool, and you deep dive into a lot of different subjects. You're all over the NFL. While being an asshole, you do it somewhat charismatically. It's an amazing combination. I don't know how you do it.
Thank you.
But on to the Panthers and Saints now. Panthers and 49ers. I'm flustered.
You've got the Saints playing 3 games this week.
They're that good. They can pull it off, okay? I am excited about this one. 49ers, slop fest, Redskins, Panthers, extra time off because they had the London game against the Buccaneers. Panthers at 49ers. 49ers are the second best team in football. We both agree with that. They are favored by 5.5, over under at 42. How do you see it shaking down there, Michael?
I always hate it when we see a team schedule for the coming year and people get caught up in strength of schedule based upon the opponent's records from the prior year.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. I don't care about prior year, but I do care about strength of schedule from the current year as the year unfolds. And the 49ers' strength of schedule is about to get more difficult. Now, doesn't mean they're going to lose this week, but the losses are coming. This team isn't going to go 16-0. Now watch, they're going to go 16-0. But this Panthers game is the first test. They got the Seahawks looming. They got the Packers. They got the Ravens. They got the Saints, for crying out loud. They got the Rams again, and they got a second game against the Seahawks. There's some easy wins there. They should sweep the Cardinals. They should beat the Falcons. Oh, God. At least that game's not in Atlanta. So, look, 24-17 is the score I've kind of pulled out of my rear end for this one. I think the 49ers defense is good enough to slow down Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Allen is due to lose. He's 4-0 this year, actually 5-0 if you go back to last year. And, yeah, they've had 2 weeks to get ready for it, but the 49ers are just operating on a higher level this year. The 49ers get one more win, and then they have the Cardinals on the short week, and then things start to get very interesting. But for now, 49ers move to 7-0. It's 24-17 victory over the Panthers. I don't feel great about it, but I feel good enough to say 49ers continue to win. I also feel bad because there were several weeks there where I didn't believe in the 49ers, picked the Browns to beat them, picked the Rams to beat them. We both were on the 49ers last week, and I think we need to be on the 49ers again.
Yeah, I've made a promise to myself that I will not be picking against the 49ers really for the rest of the year. Now, I don't know if that'll hold up true, but I'm certainly not going to start this week, okay? This is the best team the Carolina Panthers have had to play. This is definitely the best defense that Kyle Allen has had to go against in his short career to this point. And this defense is for real, like you're saying. And they have the front four to, allow themselves to be conservative in the back end if they want to, because they can let their front four just do its thing. Hey, front four, stop the run. We're not going to load the box, do things like that. Tremendous team speed. Have linebackers, I think, that can at least slow down the Christian McCaffrey attack there. And on the other side of the ball, I respect this Carolina Panthers defense a whole lot. Now, but the 49ers offense, I think, is pretty damn special. I do, and it starts with their run game. And if there's one little weakness to the Panthers, it is their run defense. And I don't like that aspect of it. I think that'll really be the key to the game, more or not. Can the Panthers just slow down the run game of the 49ers enough to where they're going to have to make Jimmy Garoppolo beat them with their pass game and do all that? We've yet to see that. And as much as I like this Panthers defense, I'm going to say no, that they can't slow it down to the point where they're going to make the 49ers and Garoppolo beat them. I don't think the 49ers are going to run for 200 yards or anything like that, but I think it's going to be effective enough that it's going to keep the Carolina Panthers off balance. And because of that and the 49ers D, I'm going to go 49ers 23-13 at home. One of those where it might be 16-13 with 8 minutes left in the game, and the 49ers go down and score a game-winning touchdown, or it's 20-13 and they kick a late field goal to kind of put it away. I kind of envision it being that overall, but I do like the 49ers, and I think they go to 7-0.
Now, Chris, if the 49ers lose this game to the Panthers and the Panthers move to 5-2, do we not instantly feel very differently about the Panthers and take them extremely seriously the rest of the way?
Yes, this would up my level of confidence in them to a degree where it has not been all year, and just would further my belief that as much as I love Cam Newton, that you stick with Kyle Allen while you ride this wave out. You just can't. If they go into San Francisco this week and pull off a win and Kyle Allen plays, just solid, he doesn't even have to play great. If he just plays solid, if I'm Ron Rivera, I'm not messing with the formula right now and everything that's going on there. And the Panthers, they got a lot of things to like about their football team. They really do. I just think they're playing a team this week that's just a little bit better than them, really well coached, and going to pose some problems for them. All right, Johnny Gruden. He's going to Houston to see Deshaun Watson, who he has self-said that is the greatest human on the planet, Deshaun Watson. And if you don't like him, you're crazy. Texans coming off the loss against the Colts. Raiders had the bye week. Not the bye week, got their butts whooped against the Green Bay Packers in the Derek Carr fumble game. Texans favored by 6.5 at home. Okay? What do you think's going to go on here?
How many of these games can John Gruden endure where he has to look across and see Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Jacoby Brissett? He's got to see Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Matthew Stafford. He's got to see Mahomes again. A lot of great quarterbacks out there that John Gruden looks at and says, where's mine? When is my guy going to emerge? And I think he knows enough after what Derek Carr did last week, lightning striking twice, the stupid mistake that he repeated from 2017. I think Carr's on the outs, and I think we may see a long day from Derek Carr. I think he's got a sense that even though it's Derek Carr going to the town where his brother was the first overall pick and it doesn't matter. I think that the Texans, especially after losing to the Colts, they're going to focus. They're going to get the win. They're going to go to 5-3. And Deshaun Watson is going to bedevil the Raiders' defense. And John Gruden is just going to be, yelling and shouting the F word over and over again and doing various forms of his scowl, the every emotion possible he can express through a scowl. And it's going to be the bad emotions that we see on Sunday, because I think the Texans will win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, though. I may be threading the needle here. I haven't checked the spread. I got the Texans winning 27-23. That's threading the needle. Oh, boy, I'm a little nervous about that.
What was that score? I'll go ahead and try to thread the needle on this one. What was that score?
27-23.
27-23. Okay. I mean, I don't think that's crazy. I don't. Again, the Raiders... And, yes, Derek Carr, I get what you're saying there. He has done some good things this year. He's done a pretty good job for the most part taking care of the ball, other than last week, which was, some really stupid moments, definitely. I like the formula the Raiders have on the offensive side of the ball. We've talked about it a lot. They're going to run the ball. They want to keep running with Josh Jacobs, who's showing himself to be pretty special. Now, the Texans have a great run defense. They do. But John Gruden, I think, will stay patient enough, and I think they're good enough up front to where they can run the ball well enough on the Houston Texans to where they have to go, we got to compromise some of our pass coverage to stop this run game. And then I don't love the Texans' pass defense, as you've heard me say, and we saw that again last week with Jacoby Brissett kind of tearing them up. So that bothers me a little. Now, the other side of the ball with Houston, the Raiders' defense is not good. Houston can run the ball. They will stay patient enough to stay balanced that way. And I know I said this to you on PFT Live today. These are the kind of games, just like we saw Aaron Rodgers last week against the Raiders' defense. I think Deshaun Watson can just physically take over this game in the moments that are tough. I do. I just don't think the Raiders have enough talent, just sheer raw talent, and especially not up front, to contain a guy like Deshaun Watson, to where even if the Texans aren't playing their best football on a day like Sunday, he's going to be good enough and too great for them to overcome. I think this game's close. I'm going 31-28 Texans. But I think ultimately I'm going with the Deshaun Watson. He makes enough magic happen and makes enough plays to DeAndre Hopkins and Kenny Stills to get them over the hump.
This is a double needle thread. We don't do that very often.
I know.
You're usually the one who takes these chances, but I don't know. Maybe it works. It makes me nervous because you're rooting for one team to win, but not by very many points. I don't like that feeling.
Well,
I don't like
care.
That turmoil.
I don't care. I just want the team that I picked to win first. The only ones I care about the damn spread, and that's why I was saying that I don't give a damn about my record against the spread because a lot of these games I would not ever bet or pick against the spread because a lot of these games that I don't bet on, I think come down to luck more times than not, or a guy being injured, things that you can't quantify in figuring out these games. So I just want to beat your ass, like I said, in the straight up and the bets department. That's all I'm going for, and we're both on the Texans in a close one there. Now, let's go to the New England Patriots. And they have to deal with Odell Beckham Jr. coming to town and Baker Mayfield. Shall he see ghosts in New England as well? I don't know. But they're coming off a bye week, and will they be prepared for the onslaught of what they're about to see with the evil empire New England Patriots? Patriots are favored by 13 mother points. Holy shit, Cleveland, you're in trouble. Over under at 43. What do you see happening, Michael?
What were you going for there? You were kind of slipping into your Captain Andrew Luck British vampire voice.
I'm just entertaining myself.
Is it like a Halloween thing?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, at least somebody's entertained.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go with, and this one, the Browns just aren't good. They're not good. And they're not nearly as good as we thought they were going to be. I don't know that Freddie Kitchens is the answer. He's still learning. He told us that a few weeks ago. Well, pay close attention to what happens in this game coming up, Freddie. This is going to be your master class on what it takes to be a great coach, because I think the Patriots will dismantle the Browns systematically the way they dismantled the Jets on Monday night. Bill Belichick is awesome against first and second year quarterbacks. This is Baker Mayfield's first crack at the Patriots, and he's going to find out the hard way what it's like to deal with New England. 35-16 shellacking. It could be worse than that. I'm being charitable giving the Browns 16 points in this one. I think it will be ugly. I think the Patriots move to 8-0. The Browns are going to be 2-5, and their margin for error is going to be dangerously thin the rest of the way. They're not quite at have to run the table territory, and their schedule does soften after week 10 or so. Right. But it's going to be very hard for them to get to the playoffs this year because, number one, they're going to lose, and number two, they're going to be picking up the pieces, and they're going to realize we got a long way to go to be the team that we thought we were going to be.
Yeah, no, and to your point, here's the schedule. I mean, you got the Patriots this week, and then they got at the Broncos, the Bills, which will be tough, but then Steelers, Dolphins, Steelers, Bengals, Cardinals, then Ravens and Bengals. So you're right. There is still a chance for them to make a late season run where they can win maybe 8 out of their last 10 or something like that. I mean, that is very real a possibility. There's certainly nothing daunting on that schedule, and they've already beat the Ravens. And I think we all sit here and go, yeah, the Bills are 6-1, but we know they kind of play an ugly style of football where they barely win against whoever they play to where they could win that game too. So it's not over. I'm certainly not picking the Browns to win this game this week. I mean, I'm not that stupid, okay? It's New England. I get that. They're the best team in the game. I do think Cleveland poses some problems for New England, okay? Just at least as their defense. This is the best offense the Patriots will play so far this year. Just because, hey, we know Cleveland can run the ball with Nick Chubb, and they got some guys on the outside where the Patriots will have to rethink about how they want to cover, starting with Odell Beckham Jr. and what they want to do there. So that poses some problems. I also think the Browns, talented, yes, and this is one of those games I look at a little bit like the Ravens or the Rams, where I'm going to go, they're going to be shit scared of being embarrassed, so they're going to be on their P's and Q's for this one. I think the Patriots win, but I think the Browns hang around and make it interesting for a little while. I'm only going Patriots 24-16 on this one. I think they get the win, but they're annoyed by the Browns consistently through the day.
Yeah, you're threading the needle on that one. I would not. Listen, I think that Bill Belichick is going. And remember this. Belichick coached the Browns. Even though the Browns he coached are now the Ravens, he still coached the Browns.
Yes, he did.
I think that's a factor in this as well. And I think he's going to want to stick it to the Browns even more zealously than he would any other team. Not that I don't know that he wants to stick it to everybody. And he never takes his foot off the gas pedal. This is his life. This is why he's the best ever. And Freddie Kitchens has a long way to go to even be remotely on the fringes of being even whispered in connection with Bill Belichick. He's got a lot of years, he's got a lot of wins, and so far he's 2-4, and I think he's going to be 2-5. And I disagree with you. I think the Patriots cover.
Okay, all right. So Packers Chiefs Sunday Night Football showdown. We're pumped. You know, I'm pumped regardless. It's Aaron Rodgers against a team that's good in the AFC. Of course, I want to see Patrick Mahomes play. I think there's maybe a 10% chance that happens, at least with him going out there a little for practice. But I still think at the end of the day, we will see Matt Moore. Packers, we know are on fire right now. Their defense is reeling. I worry about their defense. I know you've heard me say that a little bit over the last few weeks. And the Chiefs, I think, listened to us a little bit last week. After that first drive, the Chiefs stopped this slow death football, or the slow death defense. They blitzed a tremendous amount and did things that I have not seen them do all year on the defensive side of the ball, which I think was encouraging. You can't have a quick strike offense and a slow death defense. That doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make a cohesive, complementary football team that way. What do you think, Mike? What do you got? What's your score? How you see this one going?
Well, I'd like to know who's going to play quarterback.
Yeah,
we're not going to know that probably until it's time to, even if Patrick Mahomes is active, that doesn't mean they're going to trot him out there when it's time to actually play the game. It could be that this is all part of a broader ruse aimed at messing with the Packers and kind of messing with the rest of us. And you know what? It's not bad for ratings if there's some drama as to who actually is going to play quarterback. But I'm leaning Patriots either way. I'm going to reserve the right to change my mind on Sunday night.
Yeah,
so
the Patriots aren't playing in this one,
Packers.
so this will be phenomenal if they do pull this off.
I'm leaning Saints. I'm leaning Saints. All right, since the Saints are playing 3 other games, they'll have a little something left so they can play Sunday night. Packers is where I'm leaning in this one, 34-27, but I would like to have more information about whether or not Mahomes is going to play. But I just think, given where Aaron Rodgers is right now, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, the Chiefs' new formula on defense does scare me. It creates a little advantage because, like, the Packers are going to go, wait, we've only seen one game of this. Like, what else can we expect here as they continue to play this style, as far as if Steve Spagnuolo continues this creativity, blitz packages, things like that? I'll be interested. I do worry about the Packers' defense, like you said. I think ultimately, even if Mahomes is playing, I think I would pick the Packers to win a really close one. I'm picking it as of right now where he's not playing, and I'm going to take the Packers 31-21 on the road against the Matt Moore Chiefs. Now, if Patrick Mahomes plays, I would like to change my score to like 31-28, 31-30. I think it'll be that type of football game, almost like whoever has the ball last out of these two QBs, they're going to pull the magic show. But, this is one where, again, like I talked about last week, with not a great pass rush and great up front and a healthy Aaron Rodgers, these are the kind of defenses he can take over single-handedly in. And like you said, he's kind of on fire right now, and I would worry about that if I'm the Chiefs. So I got the 10-point victory for now, but we'll see how it goes with Mahomes. All right.
And here's the thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Hang on. The Packers are favored by 3.5. How much is that going to change if Mahomes plays? It may not matter, right? They haven't taken it off the board yet.
No.
But it is a strange kind of a situation. But I still could change the Chiefs come Sunday night when we have to lock in our picks for Football Night in America. But for now, I'm sticking with the Packers.
Yep. All right. Dolphins, Steelers, Monday Night Football. Dolphins on the road in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off the bye week. Steelers 14.5-point favorites, over under at 43. I know we're both picking the Steelers. How much do you have them winning by?
I got a 31-10. I mean, the Steelers, both of their wins have come in prime time. They find a different level of performance when the lights are on. The Dolphins just flat out suck, and it's going to continue. And Monday night's game is probably going to be the low water mark for primetime football in 2019. So that's all I have to say about that one. Steelers win big. Dolphins continue to stink. And the only good thing about this Steelers-Dolphins Monday night game is it most likely won't consist of that monsoon with remember the punt that didn't bounce from 2007?
Right.
We won't have that. But maybe that would be more entertaining than what we're going to see on Monday night.
Yeah, Steelers, I mean, we're going to have Mason Rudolph at quarterback, right? I mean, do we know that for sure yet? Have we come?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we
he's
got
cleared,
Mason,
and he's the guy.
Okay. So you got Mason Rudolph. The Dolphins defense is like game plan wise, they can be a little annoying. They're not going to like totally be horrible. We've seen, against the Redskins last week, against the Buffalo Bills. They're somewhat well coached. They're just not that talented right now. Now the offense is pitiful, and that's where I worry about them. I think the Dolphins kind of hang around for a little while and make it like somewhat of a game for maybe 3 quarters, but eventually the Steelers wear them out. I just think the Steelers defense is going to be too much for the Dolphins offense. They will just overwhelm them, I think, up front in the run game and pass protection, maybe cause some turnovers that way. I'm going Steelers 21-13. So I got the Dolphins covering, but kind of an ugly, unimpressive cover is kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, I think that the Steelers will indeed cover this one. I think it's going to be a boring game, and we talked about it more than we should have.
Okay, so let's move on now to Best Bets time, where I really want to kick Mike Florio's ass. Okay, I got 4 games that I want to do best bets with here, so this is actually tough. I got to cancel them out. I've starred 4 games that make sense to me. But let's get into it. We'll pick all 3. I'll tell you who my 4th is. I left out, but go ahead, Mike. Lead it off. What's your first best bet of the week?
I'm going to start with the LA Rams giving 13 to the Cincinnati Bengals. I still think that the lines do not reflect the talent difference between these great teams and the crap teams. And for whatever reason, there's this mindset out there that once the line is north of 10, I think there are bettors that think it's some kind of a trap, so they bet the underdog and they keep the line from going higher than it should be. I think this line should be more than 13. I think the Rams are going to win easily. This is a no-brainer to me. The Rams at least by 17 or 20 in this one. So my first one is the Rams.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm going to pick that too. I'm going the Rams as well. I'm with you. There's the thing that scares me a little, like I told you, just London. London can be weird. And maybe Zach Taylor's familiarity with the Rams a little bit. But ultimately, I think all the points you made are right. The Rams are just more talented. They're better coached. I think they realize that there's not a lot of more room for error for them in the NFC. They'll be a very focused unit. And, yeah, I'm picking them 38-17. So, okay, we both got that. Now, go to bet number 2, Michael Florio.
I really wish we would do the elimination like draft.
Yeah, well,
if I take
we're not. So thank you. Wish another time. Go rub another genie's bottle. All right, let's go. Keep it going.
All right, I'm going to stick with a team that I have been predicting in recent weeks on a consistent basis to cover, the New England Patriots, giving 13 to the Cleveland Browns. I have a feeling it will be another splattering. I don't care that the Browns have had 2 weeks to get ready and the Patriots are operating on a short week. The Patriots are the Patriots. There is a huge gap between them and everyone else, particularly the Browns. Odell Beckham Jr. going on and on Wednesday about the Patriots this and the Patriots that and how he wanted to play for the Patriots. I think he may decide to just stay in the locker room, just hide under a bench and hope that the Browns leave without him and he can stay in New England and be with the best organization in all of sports. And we're going to see it loud and clear. And I think a lot, we've heard talk about how, remember the Ravens, that chatter where they're sick of hearing about the Browns and then the Browns went in and beat them. I think a lot of Patriots players are probably sick of hearing about the Browns and how the Browns think they can just show up and all of a sudden be an elite team. They're never going to break ranks. They're never going to open their mouths. And they're just going to go about their business of kicking the crap out of the Browns. So I like the Patriots. Given 13, I think they're going to win by at least 20.
Okay. All right. Damn, you're going strong. I didn't have the guts to go that one. My second bet will be the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, yes, favored by 10.5. I'm riding that wave. I am. Their defense is phenomenal. You know, the Arizona Cardinals, yeah, they've won 3 in a row, but it's not against teams that are even in the same atmosphere, same stratosphere as the New Orleans Saints, who will be at home. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury have yet to be in an environment like this, like you said earlier. That's very real. Cardinals defense not good enough to stop the very well-balanced offensive attack of Sean Payton, Teddy Bridgewater, Breeze. It just doesn't matter. I think the Saints are playing phenomenal football, and I'm going with them to be my second bet. I got them 31-16, so that's a 15-point victory, and I just like the way they're playing. So there's my second one. Go to your third one, Florio.
Number 3 for me, I am going to stick with a team that I have believed in a few times this year when it comes to best bets. I don't imagine the Seattle Seahawks having 2 clunkers in a row. I think Russell Wilson is going to be salty. He's going to be pissed, and he's playing against an overmatched Falcons team. I think that the Seahawks, who are only giving 5.5 points, will go into Atlanta and destroy the Falcons. Last week, remember how we were stunned? The Rams were only 3-point favorites, and what did? They destroyed the Falcons. This week, it's only 5.5. What are people thinking? And it may be Matt Schaub, for crying out loud, at quarterback for the Falcons. I think the Seahawks win this one huge. It won't be close. And that was the one. You know, there's always one that just jumps out to me, and I think, what the hell are people thinking? 5.5 point spread for the Seahawks over the Falcons is this week's what the hell are people thinking bet. The Seahawks, now, of course, I said that last week about San Francisco only being a 9.5 point favorite over Washington, but that monsoon is what canceled that out. There won't be a monsoon in Atlanta. They're not. Number one, it's a dome, so we're fine there. Seahawks win big, easily cover the 5.5, and they would easily cover the 5.5 even if it somehow was a monsoon inside the Mercedes-Benz the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's my third bet as well. I agree. I'm going Seahawks too. 35-21 is how I see it playing out. It could be worse than that if Matt Ryan's not in the football game. So, yeah, this one did not make sense to me. So I get it. I just think the Seahawks are clearly the better team, going to be motivated. The Falcons are going in the wrong direction and realize the inevitability that there's going to be a whole new staff there next year. All right, so the 3 bets. Florio's got the Patriots. Florio's got the Rams. Florio's got the Seahawks. Sim's got the Saints. Sim's got the Rams. Sim's got the Seahawks. Okay, there's our 3. I like it. You know, we're similar. I'm rooting for Cleveland just to keep that close so you don't win that. I'll say this.
Who was your 4th one?
Yes.
You had a 4th one.
My 4th one was the Lions. I think the Lions will win by more than 7 points against the New York Giants. But because of the Quandre Diggs thing and because the Lions, I just don't trust them 100%. I don't like betting on bad teams or even mediocre teams. And I don't think they're a middle-class team. I don't think they're mediocre. They're like upper middle class, the Detroit Lions. But I guess that's just scaring me a little bit, why I didn't make them the other 3. I have full confidence in the Rams, Saints, and Seahawks that they'll be the teams I expect them to be.
See, I really thought about the Colts. I thought about the Colts. Because either the Colts are going to win by double digits or they're going to lose. There's not going to be a middle ground there.
Right.
And so anyway.
Well, that's why you don't pick them then, because if you're scared if they're going to lose, then that's good by you. Okay, let's everybody out there, let's root for me to continue to kick Florio's ass. I know that's what everybody wants. Mike, you the man.
You're not kicking my ass by much.
I know, but
I mean, you had one good week.
I'm kicking your ass right now. That's all I can say. Right. But I can't wait to see you Sunday so I can really kick your ass in person and punch you and grab you and do all the things I like to do. Way to go today. Good show, you freaking wanker. Okay? Don't be wanking it too hard, okay, down there in West Virginia? You the man, Mike. I'll see you. Chris Sims Unbuttoned, Mike Florio, PFT, PM. Peace out. We're out. Florio.
That's for you, Sims.
Up yours, Florio. Peace.
Later.
Damn. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Sims Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.